and then hover. And then it can climb out of the hover. It can roll out of the hover, and then it can flat spin. Pretty sweet. Hello, today I'd like to show you my $65 RC F-22 I've picked up recently. I'm currently flying it on Edge TX on my Radio Master Boxer. I'm flying on this protocol. In order to fly with this protocol, you don't have to just only update the controller, you have to update the SD card contents and flash the internal module. If you look up flashing the internal module instead of just updating your Radio Master Boxer, that will make the most sense, because it was a little confusing for me, to say the least, last night. But I've got it binded with the SG F-22 protocol with subtype F-22. It binded perfectly. There was nothing reversed, no controls were wrong or anything like that. In case you bind it and you mess with it and you think it's inversed, it's not. Let me see which mix I have. So for gyro, I have channel number 7 on a 3-position switch for gyro modes, and then it has stability with it has almost like an AS3X equivalent. It has stability like wind deflection, so you're able to do rolls and stunts still. And that's how you set this up pretty much. And you can see my expo ratings right here. Not sure it's correct yet, but that's what I'm working with so far. So I wanted to fly this plane, talk about it as much as I can, hopefully show this more on YouTube, because I don't think there's enough videos on this particular model that has the propellers up front. People like shy away from this or just throw it away so quickly just because of how it looks, but this model is way more efficient than the other model, because all your propeller wash is going over your wings now instead of being wasted halfway. A prop in the wing is not the most efficient. This is way more efficient, and this is more similar to UMX Ultra X, I believe it is, and those can fly pretty sweet. So you can see this setup and you can already start to get an idea of how it might fly. You have 2 servos and 2 motors with differential thrust. I removed as much as I could that I didn't need, so the battery, all the battery tray stuff came out, as well as the lights and the eternal beeper for low battery. You can tell there's a low battery still because this hole right here will start blinking red, and when you're flying close to yourself, it's pretty noticeable. So here's the setup. There is some characteristics, to say the least, with this model, because it doesn't have ailerons and it has tailerons or elevons. You can sometimes get stuck in an alpha, either inverted or non-inverted. So sometimes it's a lot better to actually learn to turn with the rudder, and then once you want to roll, then you use your aileron, if that makes sense. So that was a bunch of nonsense in case you're not a total nerd. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug in this battery I have, if I can find it. Where'd it go? Oh god. One moment. So I'm going to be doing 2 flights, one with a battery I have first because it's already charged, and I want to just show, because this brand is a really good brand, and I like how it has 2 different charging connections as well as discharging connections, so I can plug it in with my charger like this and use it in my plane like this, no problem. But this is the one I'm using, and then we'll compare the stock one right after this. Mainly want to show 2 flights of this. I did not fly this on the stock remote. It is terrible. My goodness gracious. The Radio Master Boxer is a huge upgrade for this, and it can be flown pretty nicely with it. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in my battery. Just a 1S, not 2S or anything like that, and get to flying right now. And I really hope you potentially pick up this jet or plane, whatever you'd like to call it. Another thing about flying this particular model is you want to turn on the plane before you turn on your remote. This plane will not bind unless you do it in this order every single time. Don't get mad at me, get mad at them. Okay, I think that'll be fine. See, it fits in just friction fit. I'll go ahead and get my glasses on just to be safe. And biggest gripe about the Boxer so far is this is your lanyard setup. So that already shows the whole problem right there, pretty much. So let's see. Oh no! I turned on my remote before I turned on the plane. Okay, so here it is, turning on the plane, turn on the remote.
Welcome to Edge TX.
This model is a little bit smaller and therefore lighter than the prop in slot as well, or the prop in wing. So you can do vertical climbs better too. So once you can start to ignore the little huge machine guns, if you want to call it that, it's really sweet of a flyer. So here's 50% throttle and a toss. This is with the lowest amount of gyro setting that it will allow me to apply. And I'm gonna turn with rudder and already try to put it in a high alpha. If you fly with no throttle, you will flat spin, by the way. So that's inverted already. And then hover. And then it can climb out of the hover. It can roll out of the hover. And then it can flat spin. Pretty sweet. Again, but inverted. It's really, or a lot harder to do it inverted. So to do it on this model, I've learned the best way to do it is actually just apply aileron when you're doing a normal flat spin. Apply aileron to which direction you want to spin and elevator up with no throttle. And that will result in a flat spin. And then you power, a little bit of throttle gets right out of it. Really well balanced. 65 bucks. I am hoping to enjoy this model a lot more than the original prop in the wing one I had, because it seemed like it didn't have enough power. But like I said, I do have that one ordered, coming in today actually. A little bit of wind I'm flying in. The plane weighs without a battery in my setup 66 grams currently, and then with a battery, the battery is 21 grams, so 97 grams flying weight. It has a 350 millimeter wingspan, so it's more in line with the 400 millimeter warbirds than the 500 millimeters, like in terms of scale. Going with the wind now, got a little bit of speed. I think the wind's gonna die down in a little bit. So maybe I'll use the stock battery with a little less wind. And then when you're ready to hover, I'm just trimming. Don't get no ideas thinking I'm flying in the gyro mode. Now that's a little bit of climb and a flat spin. Or trying to do a flat spin. When it's inverted, it's much harder to spin. Let me see. I'll get it one day. So in terms of the capability, it can do this and it can do that. And then it could do got scared trying to deflect the enemy. Didn't know what to do. He's telling his homies. Oops. Why are the birds so fascinated with this one? Perhaps it's the noise. Definitely tail heavy, which flies pretty fun, but not necessarily a problem. I love this model because it also helps with my rudder, learning the rudder quite well. It just throws the plane so much with more authority than other planes when I use the rudder. Should help with muscle memory. And now to land. So I'm gonna slow down, turn with rudder mostly to keep it level, and then just slow down into the wind and slowly apply throttle into a hover until I land. Like that. Okay. I'm gonna get the stock battery in a couple minutes and hopefully fly it a little bit better. I'll be back. Back with part 2. Gonna see how she flies. I currently changed the CG by grabbing that bridge with a needle nose right here where the battery is sitting currently, and just rotating and twisting so I could shove the battery all the way forward. So the CG has shifted quite a bit, and I'm going to test it how it flies right now. Like I said, for 65 bucks, it can connect to OpenTX and fly really far, and has differential thrust. I do think this is worth picking up with those stats alone. especially with over 1-to-1 thrust and the body it has. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my controller and get to flying right now. Okay, controllers on, or phone's on my head. So I'm gonna turn on the plane first as normal, and then turn on the radio second.
Welcome to Edge EX. Switch warning.
So modified CG, gonna fly in manual mode and see how she does now. So far, the flight characteristics seem to be not too vastly changed, or at least the trim. The roll is better for sure. I can bank and yank now, kinda. This is all banking and yanking. That's much better. Much better. So those are bank and yanks. No rudder yet. Yeah, it's banking and yanking much better. Here's a roll. Climb. It's less pitchy, that's for sure, being more nose heavy. Can hover no problem. Ooh, it might not be so flat spinny. Let's see. This is power off. It glides better for sure. Less than a wing's distance away from that power line. Let me bring it down closer to the earth so it's easy to see. It's so locked in and on alpha, I had to double check that I wasn't in a gyro setting right now.
Trim center.
I had the differential thrust trimmed right there, but I just turned it off right now to see if that was messing with me. I hardly had to trim this model, so I'm very skeptical of how straight it flies still. $65. The CG modification was definitely pretty good. I'd say I could use some less elevator expo now. That was cool. You could actually see that it didn't have enough prop wash to get into a hover until I throttled up. It was locked in an alpha. Like right now, this is locked in. This is max up, and I can't get it to go up and then throttle up. And it has enough prop wash, so it's enough power. And now you're climbing. Can roll either direction while climbing. Let me try an inverted flat spin. It seemed to be trying to do it. One more time. Let me try. Oh, that's pretty cool. It just kind of stayed in one spot for a second. God, the flies or the bugs in summer can be quite a pain. I just had one hover in front of my nose right now. It's like they know, man. It will stall quickly if you have 0 power. You can do some nice flattish turns when you use differential thrust. Definitely a keeper. Maybe a must buy. That was a bank and yank right there. Pretty nice flyer, I'd say. 65 bucks. It's worth it. Can handle a little bit of wind, especially with the manual mode on this one has wind deflection, similar to AS3X. So you can handle a little bit of wind. I'm currently flying at about 5-mile-per-hour wind. And the model itself is 65 grams with a 20-gram battery. And you can see with the CG change, it's actually flying quite differently. I'd really recommend also changing your CG the same exact way I did. So I'll have this linked below. Have any questions about this model, please let me know. I know almost no videos are about this model, or no videos on this model are on YouTube, sadly. So just another little pass real quick, and then you want to land with rudder. You don't want to land with aileron because you'll likely stall if you're going so slow. A little bit of a harder landing than I'd like, but it's still soft and the plane can handle it no problem. So let me readjust my camera real quick so you can get a good view of how this model looks underneath, as well as like the ailerons, what to expect. This is manual mode. You can see it's trying to deflect, some movements, but I have full control, even, like that. So I'm gonna reset my camera and just show it real quick here. Okay, so I have the model turned off now. So this is it. You can see 66 grams plus 20 grams for the battery. 800 mAh 1-cell battery is what it flies with. Simple 2 servos, 2 motors. That's what you get. Interesting model because it uses all the prop wash, and it's an F-22, so it's a prop F-22 that uses all the prop wash available, which a lot of ones don't do. I have the version with the propeller and the wing coming in very, very soon, and I will have videos on that, and I will make a video even comparing the two. So stay tuned, and any questions, please let me know in the comments. I do recommend this model. Thanks.
Welcome to HTX. Switch warning. Timer 1 elapsed.